managing major automation projects to drive business value, because after all, that's why you do it. And so let me just put a few things together here to sort of set the stage as to what we're talking about. So if I can get the clicker to, there we go. Okay. Well, in my way of thinking, major automation projects really come in two flavors. There's the greenfield type of major automation project in which there's nothing there, and so you have to build the facility as well as build the automation to go with that facility. And then of course there's the brownfield facility. Both of these have their unique issues. In the case of the greenfield, there's no automation, so you're in some ways fortunate because there's nothing that you have to consider changing or upgrading or whatever. In the case of brownfields, there's an existing automation, and you have to make some decisions as to what do I upgrade and what do I throw away, and how do I improve this to improve the business value. But when you look at both of these operations, they start at the same place. You have to design the automation, you have to engineer it, you have to purchase the necessary software, hardware, services, you have to install it, and you have to start it up. So in both cases, automation is the same thing in terms of its beginnings, in principle. In the case of a greenfield, you want to make this automation designed to meet the business objectives of this new operation that you've put in place. In the case of the existing operations, you want the same thing. You want the business value to be taken out of this work. When you look at this from an overall enterprise point of view, you have your plant in which you're putting this major automation project into, and you have a bunch of things connected to that plant, either physically connected, like pipes or trucks or whatever, and also through communications. So you have the entire supply chain as exists for you that also has to be considered in this automation upgrade that you're doing. You want to make sure the communication works. And the objective here is to manage your business processes and connecting the systems and the people and the technologies, both internally and externally, to meet these objectives. So it's not simply putting a controller in place anymore. It's more complicated than that. Many of the installed DCSs, as we've heard, and as a lot of you know, that are installed today are in a bad situation. They were not designed for the modern business value, the modern business objectives that are today, because frankly, some of them have been there for 25 or more years. People have coped with that. People have done some amazing things with some of these very old systems and managed to keep them alive. But there's big challenges in trying to move this forward. As you can see from discussions we've had so far, those business opportunities keep growing faster and faster and faster. The need for information keeps growing faster and faster. Forgot what it was. What is a billion? A billion? I don't forget now. Exabillion? I don't know. Anyway, so you have the problem that the systems that are these old systems are really not designed for the modern business requirements. They have outdated control. There are many opportunities that are lost because you can't use your existing system without a great deal of pain and effort. As Andy mentioned, we defined a system over the last 10 years that we identified as collaborative process automation system, and it's our vision of what the ideal automation system should look like. And I have to admit that a lot of the control companies have really made some good progress in this direction. So the concept, thinking about it quickly, is the concept is moving from a very technology-focused point of view, which is the way systems were bought back, particularly back when I started my career. You bought it based on what was the newest technology you could get and how it improved things. To the modern view is, what is the business value? What is the functions that you can get that make this business value not just in that plant, but across the plant, across the whole business. And so therefore the model that is your objective has changed. So there's an automation life cycle, as there is other asset life cycle, and it begins at the same point of planning. So you're planning for this, and this linear function needs to change. I'm standing right in front of Sandy Vassar, who probably could do this better than I am. But basically, the point being that this whole design and build phase needs to be shortened. It needs to be, a lot of the repetition needs to be taken out of it. We need to use the available tools that are coming to us, things like virtualization, to test and prove this thing out before we actually commission it. And there's an awful lot of things that are being done, but that can be done to make that cycle shorter and more guaranteed. Taking the risk out of this is a big objective. In the case of now, you've got this new automation system and all its extensions in your facility. How are you going to manage this over the lifetime? This first part, maybe that's 18 months. Hopefully that can even be shorter. But the rest of it is 20, 30, how many years do you plan to operate your facility? So in this case, the model of operate and maintain needs to be modified a bit, because what you really want to do is operate and maintain for sure, but you want to continuously improve that operation. And you want to continuously improve it as new things happen, new products that you're making, new opportunities to do better business. You need to do that kind of thing. Finally, somewhere down the line, you retire and recycle the material to the scrapyard. But it's a long ways down the road. Most people don't worry too much about that part. So at the beginning of one of these very big major automation projects, the automation itself has a lot of aspects to it. And one of the ways of coping with this is to develop and use the main automation contractor concept. So what does the main automation contractor do? Well, this is the person that you can, or person or company, that you can say, I want you responsible for all the aspects of my automation. So it's not just the control system, it's not just the field instruments, but it could be things like analytical systems that are connected to it. It could be things like the cybersecurity associated with the system itself. It could be things like safety systems and so on. It even could be the electrical system. We're seeing electrical systems being married with the automation systems because they have to kind of work in concert with each other. So there's a lot of things that could be done in an envelope that says, okay, this is the automation contractor's responsibility. Another way to look at it is on a major project, particularly greenfield, there's always, not always, but there typically is an EPC, engineering procurement contractor. So the contractor has a lot of things on the plate, things like designing the field, pouring concrete, putting pipes in place, welding. You just lots of things to get that facility up and running. So the need for a main automation contractor becomes even stronger in a situation like this, because you want the main automation contractor to know all the things that you want to happen that relate to the automation and operation of your facility. And there's a lot of benefits associated with this. First of all, shortening the delivery and reducing the time to startup. Reduce the project complexity. Manage the design changes that are going to invariably happen as you go along. You want to have the single point of contact. So the MAC becomes the single responsible to the customer for making sure the automation and all its aspects as the customer defined it come together. And of course you want to be able to have an integrated system at the end of all this and manage the production. And most importantly, you want to minimize the risk associated with deploying this major automation. We also believe that there's an awful lot of benefits to having this main automation contractor responsible for you to work with you, whether it's your automation supplier is your main automation contractor, or whether it's a systems integrator, or whether it's a specialty company that specializes in this. whatever it is, getting them involved earlier may seem costly at first, but it's actually going to save you money over the long haul and certainly reduce your risk. So the benefits on operations are huge. Because I've been in automation all my life, I kind of amazed at how underappreciated automation is in many industries. Whereas, a major project like this, the automation portion might be fairly small, maybe 10% of the overall spend. But it's huge when you look down at what it can do for you if you do it right, in terms of giving you opportunities to improve your production. And we show some statistics here. And if you do it wrong, you're in big trouble. You could have facilities that don't operate, are unsafe, and so on. So that concludes what I wanted to present, and appreciate you paying attention.